Hey everyone, welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. Today we have a game between Rush B and Clouded Minds in the Z West Division. I'm joined tonight once again by Pete because he was online and did say no. So hey Pete, how you doing?
I'm doing better now that I'm out of quick match.
No, true, but we had a good time in Quick Match before, so I don't know what you mean. Like, is it just because you're not playing with me and now you just have to talk, or?
It's not you, it's everyone else.
I see how it is. Okay. Anyway, on the left side here, we have Rushby. On the right side, we have Clouded Minds. Rushby currently doing pretty well in the standings, fifth place. Clouded Minds, actually, I think they are still in ninth place. I believe they were in ninth place last week as well. So, hoping to move up a little bit. I think both teams hoping to get a domination to move on up in the standings.
Yeah, should be an exciting set. I think both teams, like you said, are going to come out strong, kind of putting their best foot forward, and really see what will happen. And Clouded Minds did pick this first map, Battlefield of Eternity, a classic two-laner,
Mm-hmm.
with the objective right in the middle. So
Yep. We'll see what the teams opt to go into. Garrosh being banned out. Pretty common ban these days. Garrosh, again, still one of the meta tanks in this particular patch. Rush B does have a high priority on Stukov on Diablo, so I would not be too surprised to see Clouded Minds ban that out.
yeah, we'll see what they fear most. Both of those offer a lot of zone control, and especially BOE, it has a bunch of those walls and choke points where both of them can really just either lay down the silence field or the dash in against a wall
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to lock someone down, blow someone up.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely, frightening going into a Diablo if you're fighting under your opponent's immortal. So, it's just something to keep in mind. We'll see which of those they don't like playing against, or maybe they've seen something in scrims that we don't know about. So, 7
Right, and
seconds.
it is BOE, so you do have to worry about that race potential
Mm-hmm.
and what you don't want to give up first pick. And
And this is
Phoenix comes
Phoenix. Yeah, I think I like
out.
that actually. A lot of we haven't seen too much BOE in NGS like kind of overall, but Phoenix definitely has the ability to burn down the immortal pretty fast.
Yeah, I don't actually know where he sits compared to others. What makes Phoenix so good is that he's got that really high single target DPS with his little laser auto attacks, and then as soon as team fights come out, he can take the ranged auto attack with the splash damage, just to hit multiple people at once. And the Stu Cub does come out, so you did your scouting.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I did. I'm just looking at the stats, but yeah, Rush B picking up one of their comfort picks. And we've seen their Stukov a lot from them. Typically, if they don't get to like pick it, they will ban it out. So, good pickup there.
So, what do your stats say about supports on the side of Clouded Minds?
Well, that's it. That is a great question. Let me just pull that up real quick. In terms of supports, Clouded Minds has a similar priority on Stukov. That's Stukov again is one of the most highly contested supports in the NGS right now. But Clouded Minds has also shown that they like playing Lucio and Rhaegar. Two pretty good picks on this map. Lucio being able to maneuver around the field pretty easily, and Rhaegar, having the ancestral healing and burst healing available to him when needed.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if one is better than the other. I think it depends on how long you sit around those immortals. But they come out with Hanzo Malfurion. Malfurion, as you can probably attest to, is a really strong support at the moment.
Hmm.
And
Well, I mean,
Hanzo
as you can attest to, Hanzo is pretty good at burning down the immortal.
Hanzo on this map has one of the fastest races of any hero. With that, especially the scatter shot build, where he can just kind of sit back and poke, similar to what like a Li Ming can do, but his does even more damage, especially to the immortal. So
Hmm.
if left to his own business, he can burn through that uh, faster than I think anything. I think anything else, but I may be wrong about that part. But we do
Yeah, I
see
was gonna say.
Diablo Vala.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other hero that also burns down the immortal pretty darn fast that we know about is Vala, of course. Greymane also an option, but they're gonna pick up the Vala for the immortal burn and just having their range DPS selected already. Pretty solid 3-man already from the side of Rush B.
And I have to imagine that's a comfort pick. Vala has pretty much fallen out of favor with the rise of Hanzo, Phoenix, and other heroes. Like you said, she can definitely burn through that immortal with the Q build. I don't even know what that ability is called.
Does
The
anyone know
Hungry
it?
Arrow.
I
Hungry
was
Arrow,
gonna say,
that's what it
does
is.
anyone actually know what it's called, or is it just
I,
Q?
it's just but her health pool is one of the lowest in the game.
That's true. That's
Um,
true. Gonna have to be careful.
so so anything that can be picked to really just lock her down and burst her down can get through her health bar very quickly as well.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to make sure that the right front line is out there. I'll say something about the variant just shortly, but I just want to finish. Yeah, just have to make sure that Vala is protected by whatever front line is on the side of Rush B. So the variant ban actually is a target ban, specifically against Rush B. Rush really likes playing variant, and they have played him. Like 8 times in the past 14 games. They've done pretty well on it too. I think winning 5 out of those 8 games. So definitely, Cloud of Mind's also doing their homework and not wanting to deal with that comfort pick on the side of Rush B.
And if you just don't want to deal with it, it's not a bad ban. With him getting his alt now at level 4, those levels 4 through 9, that's where you're really looking to snowball with him. And with a Stukov Diablo, something like a taunt to lock a Hanzo down will spell death.
Indeed.
And on BOE, getting those early levels is definitely important, and the early immortals can help you push your lead.
Johanna Band comes out, makes sense, with Vala on the side of Rush B. Any sort of thing that blinds or disrupts Vala's damage dealing potential is undesirable. So, nice ban by Rush B, getting rid of that blind and that frontline crowd control that Johanna provides.
And so now, instead of Clouded Minds, I'd look for them to pick up a definitely a tank, and then either a secondary damage dealer or someone in the solo lane, depending on their preference there.
Mhm.
I could definitely see them go, well, maybe Arthas to deal with the Vala auto attack, but Arthas into Stukov and Diablo might not be the
That might not be a
hottest.
fun time. I think it's definitely possible, but they might want to replace that with something more like a Sonya and then also a primary frontline. They opt for the Thrall as their solo laner and an
Yeah.
ETC, also a pretty solid option. Thrall being able to, as you can probably attest to, hold his own in the solo lane and also deal a surprising amount of damage when running up and hitting tanks in the face.
Yeah, Thrall is one of those heroes where I think you don't really realize how much he's doing until you look at the stats page, and then you wonder, is he actually doing enough, or is all his damage just getting healed up? And honestly, I don't know the answer to that. But when you run up to someone and you smack them 3 times with that Wind Fury, it kind of feels pretty good. So, and he can definitely hold his own in the solo lane against really anyone.
Mhm,
He's got a lot of self-sustain and can usually look to poke other heroes out.
mhm.
And then
Well,
ETC, solid tank, good at initiating, good at disengaging.
mhm,
He can take stage dive for flanks, or he can take a mosh pit for those big combo plays. And
mhm.
it's really
Yep.
up to him and play style and personal preference at that point.
You get to see a real versatile
There's
tank. Yeah, okay, there comes Li
Lee
Ming. Oh, and Malthael as well.
Malphite.
I was wondering if that one was going to come out. Rushby also has shown a
It was.
little bit of Malthael in NGS. So currently their Malthael is undefeated. So also their immortal race is pretty scary, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to protect Vala. If Cloud of Mines choose to opt for someone who has a bit of dive, I don't know, how does Nubarak do against this team? You think? Because that would definitely be able to get behind the solo tank Diablo.
Yeah, Anubarak does do very well into Li Ming. Not so
Not so much
well
into
into
Vala though.
Vala.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vala just kind of dodges away from whatever Anubarak is trying to do, and the autos Anubarak to death with Anubarak's low health pool.
Mhm.
Malthael
Yeah. What would you pick up in that?
in this last spot.
Yeah. Tough. There's a pretty solid mix
I
of
don't
damage.
actually know. I
Yeah.
could see Artanis.
Yeah.
Artanis is
That'd be
very good on
another.
this map.
Ooh,
Chromie.
Chromie. Yeah.
Chromie's also. I was, yeah.
You don't really need to dive the back line if you can just throw all your abilities back there anyway. So
And Rush B doesn't really have a way to get onto Chromie.
yes, that's very true.
So it'll be the poke of Li Ming against the poke of Chromie. The melee assassins, Malthael and Thrall, Vala against Hanzo, Diablo against ETC. It's basically like both teams drafted solid soul laners, solid poke, solid immortal race, solid frontline, and solid healing. And they're going to look to play it very similarly.
Mhm.
The question just becomes first, whose race is better? And honestly, I don't know the answer to that.
I don't either. I feel. I think I'd give it to the race to Rush B a little bit more. Just you have Vala, Leeming, and Malthael like all pretty good at at burning down the immortal. I mean, you do have Thrall and Hanzo on the side of Clouded Minds, but I don't know how much Chromie contributes to that. I think
Chromie does not add too much.
I mean with Bronze Talons, I guess a little bit, but still probably not as much
Yeah,
to match
I
the other side.
I think it's very close. So then the question is going to be how the teams play it, and who can poke better. Because if Chromie takes Vala out of it, then it doesn't matter how the race goes.
All right, so introducing the teams on the left in blue, we have Rush B, Dominator playing Li Ming. We have Greenwall 12 playing Stukov. Great Patu playing, oh, I can't see that. That's Vala, I think. Weird skin. Fatlag 333 playing Diablo, and we have IDK Shrubs on Malthael.
And over on the red side, we have Venus on the Chromie, the Great Hari on Malfurion, Star Knight on ETC, Swing on Hanzo, and Tigerfish on Thrall. And notably, Thrall went Crash Lightning despite going into that solo lane. So he will be taking his time stacking that one up.
No, we had Tribe18 pointing out on Twitch that Artanis or Cassia would get solid blind value. I do agree. The Cassia might have been a good pick, but it might not be something that Clouded Minds has played before.
That's true. I think Cassia would have been a good pick. I do agree with that. Chromie does do well into Stukov, so I do understand that pickup, but the Cassia does.
Look at that Li Ming damage. We've seen Dominator on Li Ming before. I remember we were talking about this. He likes to run the Orb Glass Cannon build. I don't know if he's going to opt into it again on this map. I think we saw him on Cursed Hollow before and just was destroying everyone. So, this is, I think, one of his comfort picks, and we'll just have to watch out and see how he does.
Yeah, we'll see. If he does go that Glass Cannon build, I would really like to see a Temporal Loop Chromie and just blowing up the Li Ming.
Yeah, it's important to note that Rush B does not have a cleanse, so Temporal Loop is going to get substantial value on basically anyone on that team. Diablo goes in for the grab on ETC, but gets knocked back. Great Patu gets really, really low, taking some poke damage from Chromie. Doesn't fall. Stukov able to heal it up with his trait easily.
Yeah, and for those listening at home, Vala's health pool right now is 1433. Chromie's, in comparison, is 1489. What that means is our long range off the screen mage has a higher health pool than the archer, who is ranged but not nearly as much.
It sounds like a personal grievance.
I enjoy playing Vala, and the fact that you die instantly on her is kind of unsettling.
Actually, there's an interesting talent pickup on Malfurion, I want to note. He did go for Shandow's Clarity, which makes his Innervate recharge just a little bit faster. And that's one of the things where you're basically, letting Dominator carry. This camp capture is getting scouted out. Valak's actually going in on it. ETC is not going to make it. Valak is going to do too much damage, and Rush B with the great invade manages to take the Bruiser camp that Clouded Minds was saving, specifically for this Immortal phase. So,
that's really sad, actually. I would be that is what we call a tilt-worthy invade.
Yeah. That was a really smart play by Rush B. So,
yeah. And I think Clouded Minds, there must have been a lapse in communication because he could have ETC could have just gone and sat on that and taken it and gotten out.
Hmm.
But as it stands now, it's half immortal against a full one on the side of Clouded Minds, and it looks like they're going to try to engage while Vola burns it down. They will get the Diablo, and with the immortal still at about a quarter health at this point, as Chromie comes out and starts poking again, they do force everyone off, but can they get more? Oh,
They're all
leaving
almost going
is
down.
going that orb build, so
They're all got other with 73 health, man. It's
yeah.
already Dominator showing what he can do with Li Ming. And that's true, he's going to Triumvirate, so the Arcane Orb is going to travel farther and do, if it goes, more than 50% of its range, it's going to get a cooldown reduction. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they're re-engaging as the immortal goes down. I don't think anyone's gonna get anything out of this.
We'll find out.
Okay, sorry, I out of the chase. I think the immortal at 2/3 shield probably will get something out. Um, Hanzo is able to clear it rather quickly, and
Yeah, it's still about like half shield, so I would expect at least like the fort walls. We do have the solo laners, Malthael and Thrall in the bot lane, picking up the XP for both of their teams. Rush B has a slight XP lead. I think that's going to be mostly from Green says minions a little bit, so it looks like they picked up a couple minion wins there. They also pick up ETC,
yeah, how's ETC goes down?
which is a larger minion in this case. And yeah, just fortunately getting stuck in the silence field and going down.
Yeah, Stukov will do that to you. Hanzo does complete that scattered or simple geometry for the scattered arrow quest.
Yeah,
So that would
this
definitely
is tough
help.
though. Like looking at Clouded Minds, their mortal defense isn't super great. With just Hanzo. Like when the mortal isn't in its little like I don't know what do we call it? Its battle position. There aren't nearly as many walls in the lane to use the scatter arrow on. So I feel like it's a little bit more difficult for him to get the immortal clear.
That's true. It does get easier at 7 when he can decrease the cooldown with every auto, and his range means he can sit behind walls and get those autos in.
Mhm.
So they're definitely not out of the game yet. I think what it'll come down to is either the next Immortal or the one after that. We'll have to see how well they can take those fights. I think the heroic that ETC takes will be very telling into what they are looking for, as well as Chromie in this next level for what
And
she takes.
Rush should be able to just kind of take siege down that fort in the bottom lane. It looks like Cloud Mines would like to respond to that just by matching the pressure in the top lane. They didn't really mount any sort of defense of that bottom fort, so I don't know if they're just trying to soak up or just did not know and didn't react in time to the side of Rush B. Easy going in for power slide
Yeah.
on Li Ming, but Li Ming just teleporting away, no problem.
Yep, and it's at level 7 she again took that or build. Chromie going with Temporal Loop though. So now, while Chromie has her heroic and the side of Rush B doesn't have 10, I would really like to see them force something and even use Temporal Loop and see if they can get a kill as this next Immortal phase goes.
Yeah, I'm looking to see a pick hopefully before level 10 on the side of Clouded Mines. If you're able to get that and get some damage on their Immortal, they should be able to, stand in this phase, but it's going to be a little bit difficult because Rush B is going to hit level 10 very shortly. I guess they know that, so they're going in for an engagement right now.
Yeah, they are a little slow on the uptake again as that Immortal gets burnt down to half health. But we'll see where they go. They can take
Those orbs.
in.
Hanzo and Chromie both getting knocked down to around half health there.
Yeah, and it's one camp pushing up top for Clouded Mines, but 2 pushing down in the bottom lane for Rush B.
It looks like Clouded Mines is going to give this up because they have to clear up that camp, and now Rush B also has level 10.
Yeah. As APOC, Rain of Vengeance, Split and Swipes, Last Race, and Li Ming is gonna. I think she's just gonna hold on to it. If ETC goes Mosh Pit, I expect to see the knockback alt call, whatever it's called, come out.
We have a force probably.
That's what it's definitely
Is it?
called.
I have no idea, actually.
It is. No, you're absolutely right. It's Wave of Force.
I mean,
Um,
there's also like Force of Will on Medivh, so like it gets confusing.
yeah, and whatever Alarex pushes, I think that's another
Is it also a
Force.
Force? Anyway,
It
we
might
actually
be.
this. I think this is gonna be a keep. This is a full shielded Immortal pushing down on the side of Clouded Mines. It's we'll see how much damage you're able to get on this. Diablo gets into the grab, and he does get it on ETC. The Silence Shield coming out. ETC just dashes over it, no problem.
Yeah.
Temporal Loop comes out on Diablo. I don't think it's gonna
Not
fall there.
sure about that one. He's at 90 souls, and I believe he took. Yeah, he took the spell armor. I don't know, it's level 7. APOC comes out. Last time 2. No follow up.
Chromie Burst on
Stukov is
Stukov, he's
very low.
Yeah, he has to be very
As
careful.
is Vala. Combined health with there was about 200. So
Yeah, that's
solid
scary.
health. But the keep does go down, and so they get a free rotation here. I expect them to just kind of go pick whichever camp they want to pick up, as well as this big wave down. that
Yeah,
bot
they're
lane.
gonna. Yeah, Roast gonna hit
As-
13 easily. Have that talent tier advantage.
Yeah, Clouded Mines does hit 10. We see the Arrow, the Twilight Dream, and we'll see what ETC and Thrall opt for. Personally, I would like to see Stage Dive. Because they're now down a keep.
There is
They-
a lot
they
of
need
interrupts
that-
on the side of Rush B. Like the
Right.
worlds.
You're right. And I think they need the global factor in case ETC has to be pushing a lane. Or de-pushing a lane, rather. With the catapults going against him now. But we will see. He's holding on to it. Earthquake for Thrall does come out. I actually like that. With Stukov and really just Stukov though is the only one without a dash on
Diablo's
the
going
other
in for an
team.
engagement. Thrall, this is the fight actually that Conrad wants. If they're able to get a pick, it does not look like it. Thrall goes down first in that fight. So some great engage there by Diablo. Thrall does use Earthquake, but isn't quite able to get away from all the burst damage that comes out there.
He gets burst down. As ETC does go stage dive, which means Li Ming does pick up Disintegrate, and that glass cannon now at 13.
Indeed. Yeah, that was, I think, the chance for Clouded Mines to hopefully take the fight on even talent tiers. They're at a pretty big disadvantage for this Immortal phase. They're yeah, it's rough. They're down 3 ults, and Rush B only used 1. They only used Malthael's last rites. It looked like.
I think Clouded Mines got caught off guard that they were really expecting that, and before they knew what happened, Thrall was pretty dead.
That's a word. That's a word for it. ETC goes ahead and actually completes Prog Rock, so we're gonna have a little more sustain on the side of Clouded Mines. But yeah,
Yeah, and
this is crazy. You just look at Rush B's speed and burning down this Immortal. They didn't they just casually take that to halftime. In basically no time at all. So
yeah, I feel like Rush B has gotten a little lucky with the enemy immortals spawning on their side. I think in all 3 phases at this point. But Diablo does get locked into the immortal, and is he
comes APOC? He does go down.
He does have soul. So ETC comes down too. Twilight Dream hits 3 as Arrow whips, but Thrall. Okay.
That was a nice fight there. Yeah, that was I feel like
half of it.
I feel like if that arrow had connected, I feel like it might have been a slightly different story, because it looked like Malthael was in range of that arrow, and we can I think we can actually take a look at that again. Pete won't be able to see it, but we'll be able to take a look at this fight. So if you look at the engage, Diablo goes in, tries to get a pick, but he's fighting under the enemy team's immortal, so he actually gets stunned out and unable to actually do anything. Also gets rooted by Malfurion, and really just goes down before he's able to do anything except hit the APOC. Malfurion gets separated on the back and goes down. So the Dragon's Arrow that just barely missed Malthael could have potentially gave Clouded Mines an additional kill, but was not quite able to confirm it there.
And
meanwhile, in the actual game,
the Malthael went top to clean up a wave and then made his way down on a pale horse, giving him the extra movement speed. And now they're sieging down another keep with Li Ming just sitting back and throwing out orb after orb
Mhm.
and the magic missiles. And with the Immortal just now losing its shield and the keep already halfway down, I expect them to just keep poking this
Oh man,
down.
it even chunks down ECC down to half health. That's just absurd.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if they're not, we'll see if they try to push for the core, but if they decide not to, I would like to see them rotate. Oh, they want to try to get some core damage down. I can
You know, I
appreciate
think they
this.
could. They definitely could. Throw goes down before anything can really happen. Leaving orbs just chunking him completely, and unable to just do anything to disengage.
Yeah,
Almost
and
goes out of
Vala
the back.
walks away again with about 100 health.
She goes
Arrow,
down to Hanzo,
Arrow
but the
hits
core
that.
is also falling at like 8%, 1%, and that's gonna be GG.
That is a hashtag worth moment from Vala. My life for the core.
That's the only. We'll
Um,
see. We'll see in the stats real soon, but it might be the only death on the side of Rush B. Maybe. No, I think they actually had a few
no,
in that team
Diablo died
fight.
early
No,
on.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I forgot.
Yep.
9-4. So. Yeah,
But
Dominator. I think is that Li Ming pick that keeps coming through. I feel like he might need to be addressed. He did actually do the same build we saw last time on Crystal Hollow. He actually did go Glass Cannon,
mhm.
completely disrespecting Chromie. Just, just saying
Right,
that like, you
and I
can't hit
think
me. Like,
Clouded Minds did go for the flank potential with the Earthquake and Stage Dive, but they were just a little too far behind at that point.
hmm just barely though. Yeah, I mean, it's just. I think it's just that push, immortal push that got them. I feel like if they had been a little bit more. If they'd actually gotten that engage that they wanted, like I think it was level 12 to 10, they could
Yep.
have definitely turned it and gotten back in the fight. So I think it was really just that kind of like mid game like stumble, and they just weren't quite able to recover. But some good play there, good chunks on both sides from Chromie and Li Ming. But Rush be prevailing just a little bit more in the end.
Yep, definitely. It was Rush B coming out strong and Clouded Minds kind of playing from behind and gave it their best, but just got caught off guard once or twice too many times.
hmm All right, we're gonna go ahead and prepare the second game for you guys. We will be right back.
Yep.
Hey guys, welcome back to Game 2 of Rush B versus Clouded Mines. Excuse me. Joined once again by Pete. In the first game, we saw Rush B take the game take the match 1-0 pretty convincingly with the Immortal Race composition on Battlefield of Eternity. We are now moving over to Infernal Shrines with Clouded Mines having the first pick.
Yep. First pick, first ban. We'll see what they want to remove. Last time, what did they ban
Oh, I mean,
first?
so the first bans were Garish and Phoenix. So Clouded
That's
Minds
right.
banned Phoenix first, and then Garish was banned out by the blue side first. So they might stick with that, or they might want to ban out that Stukov maybe, or maybe
Or
there's gonna be
the
at
Ming.
least there might be a respect ban for Dominator on that Li Ming.
Yeah.
He's,
They're definitely talking about it.
they definitely
Um,
are.
Infernal Shrines does play a little like Battlefield of Eternity, where you know where and when that objective is going to spawn, but it's the Varian first ban.
Okay, all right. So I can see that. That's still a good comfort pick for Rush Bees. So I think they might be hoping if they're trying to ban out the comfort picks, they might be doing the variant ban first, and then either picking up Li Ming or banning it in the second ban phase. It's not
Yeah.
something that Rush Bee always plays, I believe. Although I think Dominator has played Li Ming every time that we've been casting. So uh, maybe
Well,
it's
and I was
up to
gonna
us.
say on this map, the objective does block all of that Li Ming poke.
It's a
Granted,
lot more difficult.
she'll pick up a few of those skeletal defenders, but you can give away a few to save half your health bar.
Here's your ban
As
coming
Tracer
out.
is banned on the other side.
I don't know what my stats tell me about that. That might just be a combo that they don't want to deal with. Well, it is also. I'm gonna
Yeah,
sort this alphabetically.
Tracer's just one of those strong tough to deal with assassins.
Hmm.
Her early game did get nerfed a little recently, but her late game got a little better. So she's kind of pseudo sustain damage with that burst finisher with her pulse bomb. Um, and especially on something like Infernal Shrines, where she can dash from fog into vision just in time to pulse bomb you and then dash back out.
Hmm.
I could see where that could be definitely annoying.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not something that Clouded Minds has actually shown us in league play, but it might be something that they've been running in scrims, that has come up. So, Tracer Band coming out, always a solid thing to not want to deal with. First pick Stukov, Clouded Minds picking that up instead, not letting Rush B have it. Stukov was pretty annoying in that last game, getting tons of good silences, just general disruption. Um,
Yeah, I hate playing against a good Stukov. It feels really bad.
it does
It
feel really
feels like
bad.
I might as well not play the game because I can't do anything.
Yeah, it's true. There's a little BS bubble right there.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can be as effective on Clouded Minds this time around as he was on Rush B.
Mhm.
Solid first pickup, but that there are still a lot of good options available on this map and generally. Alex Straza is definitely a kind of niche pick on this map, offering a lot of that zone control on the shrines.
Looking at Recipe's like pick history, they might opt into that. Recipe has not actually dropped a game on Infernal Shrines. They are currently 100% on it. They are also 100% on Alex Straza, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see it picked up in
They
the
picked
first
it
ban
up.
phase.
Okay. They picked it up
Actually,
pretty well.
whoever's playing Alex actually has a 43 KDA, having only died once. So I believe that's gonna be Greenwall or Great Patu on that. Greenwall apparently, so Great Patu is probably gonna play it for good reason. Player for
um,
we have different priorities here, Patu. Anyway, I feel like I'm revealing
so
too much here.
this is perks of tournament mode draft where all chat is in fact enabled as the Phoenix comes
Hey,
out.
Phoenix is left up. All right, cool. So we're gonna see Phoenix. What do you think of Phoenix on Infernal Shrines? Actually, having actually played him a bit.
Phoenix is very strong all around. He does very well when he can go and into that ranged blast mode where he sends out that orb damage to splash damage.
Mhm.
So on the shrines, he's got the wave clear. He's got a blink out. He's got ways to dodge. Um, Apocalypse or other CC that comes out if he times it right.
Mhm.
And then if he needs that single target damage, he can switch focus. He kind of does a lot of damage for someone who has mobility, invulnerability frames, range.
That is the
Um,
complaint, I think, isn't it?
right. I mean, I don't think I'm alone on that one. Um, We'll see. I think it's hard to be an effective Phoenix. He is one of those heroes where you do have to toe the line of how close can you get before someone jumps you and does kill you. His health pool isn't that high, but he's got that ability to trade damage very effectively and let his shield do most of the work there.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
also Phoenix is a pretty safe pickup. Varen was banned in the first ban phase, so that's one of these I guess, primary counters to Phoenix, and also a comfort pick by Rush P. So, two reasons to ban it out on the side of Clouded Minds. Kael'thas being banned out, don't want to get that burst damage and zone control on the Shrine. Can definitely understand that. Does leave Jaina open. Jaina might be something Rush B picks up if they're banning out Kael'thas. Looking at that. That might be they might want to pick up their burst mage on this map next. We'll see.
yeah, Jaina is very good on this map. Well, Jaina's very good generally. I think she offers a lot of burst, especially when she hits 13 and can pick up that reduced cooldown.
Mhm.
Um, although to play Jaina effectively, I think it's important to know when you can use your wave clear to clear waves or the shrine objective versus when you should hold on to it
Yeah.
for that burst. As the Jaina
There.
ban comes
There's a
out.
bit. Okay, but okay,
So
this does leave Ling Ming open. Just saying.
again, Li Ming is an effective hero when she doesn't have other things in the way, and on a like this, it's less about poking an enemy down as it is about forcing them off the point. And that's where like Alex Straza comes in on this map. She can enter dragon form and really just bully her way onto that point while doing large amounts of splash damage and healing through
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah, but
I
it's
think
just I'm just saying you could, if you get someone else for the shrine control and then have Li Mei more as like a flanker onto the back line of Clouded Mines, it could definitely work uh, on this map. I think a little bit
that's true.
unorthodox, but definitely something that Rush B might want to look at given the strength of Dominator on that particular hero.
That's very true. It's after a certain point, the suboptimal things are still better if that's where you're more comfortable. And so we see Malthael come out. They were definitely comfortable on Malthael last game.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
He did his job effectively. And again, he's good on this map because his auto attacks now do that cleave area of effect damage. So he is good in the solo lane. He's good on the shrine.
Mhm. Johanna
He
coming
can
out
really do
as
influence.
Yep, Johanna coming out as the pick. Primarily for Phoenix. Most of his damage is auto attack based. So getting the blind and basically removing that damage source for a number of seconds can make all the difference in these big team fights. So I
And
like I like that pick.
she is a strong counter against the ETC as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Where if ETC just opts into that mosh pit and starts that up, she can start channeling her, whatever it's called, the circle pulling thing. Um,
Ooh,
and
what is that one? Isn't it like condemn or something?
condemn
I
is
think it's
something
is
else.
it?
Or is there punish? And that's something. The other thing I'm thinking about. One thing slows in front of her, and the other one.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Well, we
think the
could
Gul'dan,
talk about
yeah,
this.
yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
Gul'dan and
you all know
Nubarak,
what I'm talking about.
yes, I think we know. Gul'dan and Nubarak coming out on the side of Clouded Mines. Gul'dan has a really just, oppressive presence on the shrine. I think the corruption is just able to not only do damage to, the splash damage, does damage to the shrine minions, along with all of the enemy heroes who are trying to clear the shrine minions. So definitely difficult, especially for someone like Alex Strauss to deal with. Like if Alex gets poked out too much by Gul'dan, the Q healing efficiency gets reduced. So you're then reliant on like that big AOE 12-second cooldown heal. So Anub'arak also I think is going to be pretty disruptive to like Alex's healing. So we'll have to see how Rush B wants to position around that.
Yeah, and a new Barack, I would think, is definitely in response to that Alex pickup. As soon as the dragon comes out, a cocoon can come out, and suddenly the dragon goes away as the Li Ming does get picked up.
See, I told you.
Very interesting. You're picking that into an Anubarak.
I feel like this is just a statement, by Rush B at this point.
It
Like
is. You're absolutely right.
um, I honestly think that is just Rush B saying that like we don't actually care where we play Li Ming, we will dominate you anyway. It's in his name. It's what he does.
Yeah, we'll see if he can stand up to it. I'm excited to see what Cloud9 has to bring this time. I think their draft says, pick Li Ming, we dare you. And Dominator said, I
Challenge
will.
accepted. Yeah, that's basically what I think. I agree. This is basically you're picking it into an Nubrek, into Gul'dan, Suga, Phoenix. Like a lot of people who are gonna give Li Ming a hard time. All right, getting into game two. Gonna go ahead and introduce the teams once again. On the blue side, we have Rush B. We have Dominator playing his, I think, signature Li Ming at this point, for us at least. Batlog 333 playing Diablo Greenwall 12, playing Johanna. We have IDK Shrubs on Malthael, and we have the Great Patu playing Alex Straza.
And over on the red side, we have Clouded Minds with the Great Hari on Stukov, Swing on ETC, Stark Knight on Anubarak, Venus on Gul'dan, and Tiger Flesh on the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna go ahead and go straight to the mid. Well, okay, Clouded Minds is going to. It looks like Rush B has other plans. They're gonna go ahead and set up for this 4-man rotation, hoping to find someone when Clouded Minds goes to rotate to lane. Interesting strategy. Kind of like it.
Clouded Minds takes none of that bait, says, we're going to push mid because that's what teams do. as Phoenix goes to solo against the Malthael this time. I actually think that's an okay matchup because they can both trade and heal up in kind of the similar ways.
Diablo Grab comes out on Gul'dan. Diablo's kind of a little bit isolated from the team there. Zubaray's going to stun him out, and I don't think he's going to get out of that. So there's a nice attempted pickup, trying to kill Venus there. But I don't think enough of the follow-up damage was there. I don't know if Li Ming was just not in position or like the abilities got blocked, but it was a little bit of a optimistic.
You know, I think it was just a level 1. You can't really one-shot someone because Li Ming did get a long range orb out and did take Venus down to about 1/4 health, but it just wasn't enough at level 1. So. They do that again later on. I expect to see a dead Venus, but
yeah, that's one way to put it. Yeah,
we'll see how this game goes.
Yes, Johanna just walks up. It does a little bit of a face check, but it's Johanna. She's fine. She can just walk away. No problems there.
Looking at talents real quick, we have advanced targeting on the Phoenix. He'll be looking to stack that up on the melee Malthael throughout that solo laning phase. Other notable things, Echoed Corruption on Gul'dan, so he will be looking to stack that up.
Here comes the pick on Venus once again, interrupted by Nubrag very nicely there. Link is going in, trying to keep Diablo locked down once again, but I think he's going to be able to get out this time. He's not stuck between, 2 walls. Just one.
Yeah, it's... Diablo, I think, is going to have a rough time this game. He is looking at interrupts on both ETC and a Nubrag for that dash. And then if he does go in, Stukov is right there to silence him. And
speaking of Stukov,
the invade comes out.
If
so
Stukov comes the orb. I was going to say, so you were saying that, Stukov is going to be a problem, but if Stukov is dead, then there is no problem. Diablo does go down eventually to the sustained Gul'dan damage, so it is a trade. Looks like Clouded Minds was disrupted from that camp, but it looks like they're going to be able to go in and finish that after the fact.
Yeah, and for any of those teams who are watching this on replay, and
look how that orb just took him completely by surprise. But Johanna now finds himself in the boss, but it's not that bad.
Nubrag goes down because 3 versus 2 wins that one. Like, Dragon Queen does come out early, and as this the shrine phase comes out, and Tigerfish on the Phoenix starts clearing.
Be a little careful. He does have a teleport. That was the only lockdown that he had, so he's gonna get away, no problem.
But that means no Dragon Queen for this shrine phase.
Yes. I think that's a little bit of a disadvantage, right? Because you do want that on this shrine phase. It looks like Cloud Mind is going to hit level 6. They do have a slight level advantage. As we have this game
as
right
silence
now.
Diablo is like a demon getting locked into that.
Yep.
The body blocks and the silence, even against the Lord of Hell.
Yeah, if Diablo's being too scary, you can just tell him to shut up and go home. So, Lord of Terror not actually that scary, but he's quiet.
Not when he can't talk.
Yep.
Clouded Minds, they're really holding their own. They're at 35 of that 40. They do have a camp kind of pushing down in that mid lane, but I expect they'll go and clear that rather quickly as the Punisher comes out.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
teams are pretty even in terms of levels. But yeah, I think not having Dragon Queen for that shrine fight was a bit of a disadvantage. It was a little bit unfortunate, maybe thinking that there'd be a re-engage and popping it there. But I thought Rush B not losing too much on this push, having set Malthael up to the top lane, Johanna down to the bottom lane, making sure they're picking up all the XP from the game right now.
Right, but that still leaves Clouded Minds with that slight experience lead, and when experience is currency in the game, that can become very important depending on when the next shrine phase hits and how far ahead they are. So they do get that front wall, which is actually par for the course for that first Punisher, as well as some fort damage.
It's
So I
about
like what they see.
it looks like a quarter-ish level, if even level lead right now for Cloud and Mines. I think looking
Yeah.
at how the game is unfolding right now, I think Rush B is going to be in a pretty good position to be at the same talent tier for the next Shrine phase. Gonna need to make sure they don't get caught. Actually, Swing needs to make sure that she doesn't get caught there, but ETC dashes away, not getting caught by Diablo there. Nice work. Nice scouting. Malleable Phoenix having a great time in the top lane, or at least Phoenix is. I don't know about Malleable. Definitely a little bit difficult
Yeah.
to, when someone is shooting these little dinky lasers at you, they're doing more damage than you think. It's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, and I think we can see that both front walls are very healthy, so it's really just kind of a push back and forth. I think
That goes on.
ooh, Diablo goes in.
Yeah, the other went in for the
New
Brawl
rack,
angle, man.
counter back.
He's getting body blocked pretty nicely here, but is able to eventually walk around to safety.
That was a really good counterplay by Clouded Minds there, and I like what I even seen from them because they let Diablo go in, and as soon as he does, they say, "Well, you're not getting back. You've got no way out once you go in."
Yep. Speaking of no way out, Dragon gets popped. I do like this choice. This is a 4v. Yeah, this is a 4v4. Li Ming is pretty low on mana though, so their primary damage dealer is not really going to be doing too much damage with, what is that, like 25 MP? So not really anything happening there, besides the Dragon Queen being used once again for the Shrine phase.
Ooh,
Yep, Phoenix actually gets taken out by Malleable there. So
I don't know how that happened.
Phoenix probably got a little bit too comfortable, and then Malleable just managed to burn through the shields faster than expected.
Yeah, I guess.
Swing going in here for hopefully the counter kill Malleable, but I don't think
I
it's
don't
going to
think
work
he
out
can
too
do it.
well.
Do you know the cooldown on Dragon Queen?
I do, but we can actually also check it. So, hey guys,
Oh,
the cooldown on Dragon Queen is 150 seconds, and we have it at 93 seconds. So it's going to be down for a solid minute during this Shrine phase.
As the 10s get picked up, so that could definitely become important. We see Cocoon insta-locked, Cleansing Fame by the Alex, Blessed Shield, Apocalypse, Malthael and Li Ming holding on to theirs, as is ETC. We do get the Purification Salvo, so no Mosh Beam hit today for those looking for it. We do, we do get the Mosh Pit.
The beam, Mosh, my dreams.
Shrine is active, but it has not yet been activated as the camp gets cleared out. And Clouded Mind's doing a very good job picking up this camp up top. That'll be pushing throughout this whole phase. So if they can get on and delay...
I really like that camp pickup. Also, I also really like Johanna just 1v4ing the enemy team. Just casually going, you can't... Doing her best Gandalf impression, I think. Yeah.
First of Johanna, you pop your shield, you pop your unstoppable, and you just kind of, I guess, force the other team to walk away.
Yeah, this is a little confusing. I think Cloud Mines need to get an engage, but it didn't look like they got the engage that they wanted, so they're actually just going to back up. I think they're going to push with that top lane, each camp. So it looks like it is probably going to be. Oh, unfortunately, the camp actually got cleaned up right now. So yeah, it went down to the wall. So not too much value coming out of that push. So yeah, they're just on the defensive. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it looked like they didn't get the engage they wanted, and then just decided to play it safe and not fall that much farther behind. So this might be the fourth, but it might also. I'm sure I say 3-person stun there. Diablo goes in for Stukov. Doesn't manage to get it. Cleansing Flame comes out trying to cover Diablo as he gets pushed all the way back to his own fort. The orb almost connects to Stukov, but man, that cocoon.
Li Ming did get Cocoon. We'll see.
Here comes Dragon Queen. Cleansing Flame was already used, but now comes Alex's secret ult.
Is he gonna go down?
Not quite.
Numer goes in to save his Tauren buddy.
Yeah. So that was so a lot of trading, but both teams are actually playing it pretty safe, and not really letting each other run over their team.
Yeah, solid play by both sides to limit what the other one can get. I think getting the fort was pretty much to be expected, and so Cloud Mines only finds themselves less than a level behind at this point is still very respectable. They're still scaling. Gul'dan is currently at 30 stacks of his Echoed Corruption, which means he only has room to get stronger, as does Phoenix, who is at only 27 of that advanced targeting. And let's see, Alexstrasza did go Circle of Life, and she is at 17 of those 25 stacks.
Yeah, so she is actually healing for an additional 5% of maximum health right now. She'll start spawning Regen Goats later. Diablo goes in for Venus there. He actually gets veered back towards Gul'dan's retreat path. Johanna is in the cocoon.
This is a 5v4 because
Diablo is going to go down, yeah.
Diablo goes down and only has 64 souls, so that is a full death timer coming out for him. We'll see what Cloud of Mines can get from it.
Yeah, that was, Rush B is at the 13 talent here, but it is still dangerous, as we're seeing, to pick a fight when you're down 4v5 and the opponent is just about to be the same talent tier that you are.
Yeah, and Cloud of Mines does still have 3 very effective heroics still on the table with the Salvo, the Mosh Pit, and the Massive Shove to take what would have been a 5v4 to a 5v3, and who knows if the ETC Mosh Pit.
Yep. So, I also do want to just point out that leaving Orb into the bush, doing some nice scouting there. Make sure to check your bushes. Liming trying to get the flank on Venus here, but it doesn't look like Nuvarak's going to let that happen. Diablo goes back into the middle to try to grab the land. As Polywood comes out, Alex is still in the cocoon though, so Malthael is trying to get that 3. Nuvarak is almost down.
Salo comes out and Diablo goes down again.
Just barely. Nuvarak gets out of there with like 150 health, man. That was rough.
Well, you know why that happened, right?
Well, we can go back and look, actually. Why do you think that happened?
Spell armor.
Spell armor, indeed.
I believe at baseline, the Beetle has 20, and then the Beetle gets an extra 30 from that Nerubian.
Well, looking at this fight, the way it actually happened, Nuvarak was able to get back onto Alexstrasza down there in the bottom left corner. When Alexstrasza was taken out, Malthael was focusing the cocoon the entire time and unable to actually do any damage there. So no one on the side of Cloud of Mines is actually going down, and Nuvarak does get out with just a fraction of his health. So I think you're right, Pete. I think the little bit of spell armor was critical in keeping Nuvarak alive for the ability to go in on Alexstrasza, remove her from the fight, and then also distract Malthael at the same time. You basically, Nuvarak got like 2 for 1 there because Malthael was not doing any damage at the time. So the Moshpit does get interrupted.
Immediately.
I think Moshpit's going to be. Ooh, Moshpit is actually on full cooldown, so that was really, really nice timing. Like green wall on that Johanna there. Naked Shrubs goes down as well. Li Ming just when you actually have Malthael and Li Ming able to do damage in the backline, it's just it is night and day difference.
I mean, if you're even just looking at the heroics used, Apocalypse wasn't even used, and that fight went significantly in the way of Rush B.
We're actually going to go ahead and take a look at the fight once again, real quick, while the shrine is being picked up. So Diablo goes in for the team. The Mosh Pit that's instantly interrupted and put on full cooldown, which is just super tight timing by Johanna there. Li Ming is put in the cocoon in the backline, but this time Idacus Shrubs is just tearing apart the tanks on the side of Clouded Mines. Venus in the back, when Li Ming comes out of that cocoon, there's nothing to stop her. There's just that wall. And she gets 3 resets, at once, and with the way that Dominator plays, 3 resets is basically, if every orb is 1/3 of your health, you're basically dead. Diablo, now that he has the double, dash, is able to basically just body Stukov out there. So,
yeah, and Clouded Mines took that re-engage with the Talontier disadvantage. APOC, like we said, was still up.
That's a good point. Yeah, APOC was saved in that last fight, so they had that advantage going into that shrine phase, and Clouded Mines just unfortunately get caught in it, and Diablo is able to just body people against walls at this point. Gul'dan has to be a lot more careful.
Right. So as we see, the 4 go down. Punisher get to that front wall, not yet baited over it, so you don't have that keep helping you take it out, as it does just then.
Yep.
Um,
It looks like it's
but
just going to be Fort unless Roshby wants to push their luck a little bit. They could. They still are up a talent tier, level 17 to 15. But it looks like they're going
but
to go ahead and do the safe option of taking the siege camp.
yeah,
Oh,
I like
relatively
this
safe.
rotation.
I don't know if I... Cloud Minds does have their ult up. Diablo does have APOC down. Phoenix gets stunned out. Nice Horrify. Moshpit comes out on Malthael and Li Ming there, so the damage dealers on the side of Rushby are taken out of the fight for now. Ling is still super low, getting body blocked by Johanna there. Unable to actually take anyone down on the side of Rushby.
And Phoenix
Yeah.
actually gets interrupted in the middle of his purification salvo. I don't expect
Yeah, that
that
was
would
unfortunate.
have killed anyone. But it was one of those fights where you look at it and you think both teams want
Ooh,
that
look at
fight
that
in
grab
the
on
corridor.
Not quite able to take him down there.
So
Yeah.
what he's saying is you can't just grab a weakness.
I guess, I guess that is true. You can't just grab a weenus.
As they,
That weenus is moist and just slips away, so. Rush B is sieging up on the core, though. It looks like, Cloud of Mines had a chance that they're able to hit 16 and able to get some quick kills, but I don't know if quick is going to be the name of the game here. They might pull this off. The Purification Style comes off. ETC goes down. It looks like, the core is actually still at 55%. Stukov is still alive with like 100% health. Numerak doesn't quite manage to retreat in time. So I think Rushby is eventually going to clean this up and manage to take game 2.
Yeah, I would say it was a much closer game than the last one, though. I really like the play on both sides. I think Cloud and Mines came out with a good strategy again, and it really held their own up until one misplaced fight.
Yeah, I think that invade on the Bruiser camp, that fight was I think, also a little bit tilting, when you get like 5-man wiped, even though you're like, yeah, we took Li Ming out of the fight, and then just just blown up. It's rough, man.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's kind of the name of the game. The tempo switched and they weren't quite sure how to get it back. But I think they have a lot of good things they can take away from these games and can look into that.
They had solid play. I am actually going to go back and look at that last fight, that last replay. Going to go ahead and take a look at what was. I'm going to actually scroll it back. So, Cloud Mines was trying to get their siege camp. I don't know if they realized that Rushby was there. They had a really good Horrify. Diablo goes into the backline, but isn't quite able to. No damage is actually being focused down. Like Phoenix was driven out of the fight very, very early. So, and then. Like, ETC is then separated from the team, and, like, no damage is actually being done, if that makes any sense. It was really difficult, because the damage dealers were being zoned out by Johanna, and that initial Diablo engage. So it was just really, really difficult for the side of Cloud of Mines to actually take the damage dealers out, and then once the mosh pit ended, it was, we've seen what Dominator could do, so... So some good games there. I'm gonna check with Dominator actually to see if he wants to do an interview once again. So I'm gonna mute myself real quick while we get that set up. I'll leave the stats up, and we will be hopefully back with an interview in just a little bit. All right, everyone. We are joined by two members of Rush B here. We have Dominator and we have Fatlock333. Here with us. First of all, congrats, guys. How does it feel to have another 2-0 victory in your division?
Thanks. Feels really well.
Feels great.
Cool. All right. So I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Feels good. All right. So I did want to ask. So Dominator, you have actually played Li Ming, I think 3 out of 4 games that Pete and I have casted for you. Is this something that is seriously just like this much of a comfort pick? Because we Pete and I questioned the Li Ming pick on the second map a little bit on Infernal Shrines. We didn't think it would get as much value as it did. So talk us through why you would, besides from just showing off.
That's funny. I actually didn't realize that I'd played Li Ming so much with you.
Yeah.
You should have told me beforehand. I would have played something else. No, but I think Li Ming's really good. Oh, sorry for some background noise.
No worries.
I think Li Ming's really good right now. And even though we were playing against Anubrak in the second match, I think she has a lot of value against ETC and Anubrak for that matter. Because if he goes Cocoon, you can go the laser and just absolutely burn it down. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to show that one off since CTC went Mosh and just pocket the Wave of Force in case.
Yeah.
I think the Li Ming also like gives a lot of good like just consistent damage no matter what, and so it feels good to have it on the team.
Yeah, you're definitely chunking people out a ton in the first game. It was kind of ridiculous. So, real nice work there. Falik, tell me about. So we thought the early game on the second game on Infernal Shrine seemed a little bit rough going in for the Gul'dan, a little bit early, getting separated from the team a little bit too much. Did you think that that style of aggression was? Just talk us through like the thinking there, because it definitely works once you got like the double dash and was able to like knock people against the wall.
Yeah, I think Diablo, like, you can't get real discouraged with him if something doesn't work early, because he, in my opinion, is a really great scaling tank. Especially when you get the quest at 13 and then the double charge at 16. So we were having a lot of troubles early with body blocks. The ETC and the Anubrak both did fantastic at keeping me from getting back to my healer. So but yeah, in that regard, you can't get discouraged. You got to just play around it and wait for late game, essentially.
Yeah, some solid play there. Pete, got any questions?
Well, so talking about BOE, I think we saw you draft Stukov first, and then they countered with the Hanzo Malfurion, and then you brought out the Vala. And I don't remember quite who played that, but when you looked at your composition versus theirs on Battlefield of Eternity, obviously you had the Li Ming, so you felt comfortable, but were you at all concerned going into the Hanzo, just kind of in a race situation?
Against the Hanzo, we kind of prepared that they were going to pick the Hanzo first, and we were kind of talking about it, thinking, oh well, they go Hanzo, who else can compete with that level of burn? And Vala's kind of the old school immortal burn, so we opted for that. And we just happened to get camps and kept up a lot of pressure where they weren't able to race us without sacrificing forts.
Happened to get camps, yeah. So
that was my follow up.
Yeah, the early invade, was that luck, or was that something that you figured that they were doing and just wanted to see if they were around?
Chris, you were there for that one. You should answer that.
Yeah. So the early invade, I feel like in regard to get like ahead, because again, like both of our teams in both games, I feel were super late game. So you need to find like ways to push the advantage by basically catching the other team with their pants down. So we stressed good macro play a lot, and so I think that just played into our hands really well. So
yeah, no, that was some really solid scouting. I actually feel like Division C feels like the land of its free camps, because I believe that we also had like a free camp steal by a different division in a different game in Division C.
Yeah, that was something else, and this camp came with a free tank at the same time. So
it's true, it did come with that.
Must have felt good.
Felt great.
Cool. All right. I think that about does it for questions from me. Pete, I don't know if you have any last questions to wrap up.
I mean, anything else you guys want to chime in on?
Yeah.
Say thanks to someone,
Just want to shout out to our six that couldn't be here with us tonight. Hope he's having fun dealing with LA traffic.
Oof, yeah, that's always fun.
Always.
Yeah, and thanks to you guys for casting us a second time.
No
Really
problem.
appreciate it.
No
Yeah,
problem.
you guys are fantastic. We appreciate everything y'all do.
Thanks.
They're fun games to watch.
They are indeed. Cool.
Can't wait to bring you more.
Yeah, looking forward to it. All right. That about does it for me and Pete here on this NGS cast. Thanks to Dominator and to Fatlock for joining us for this interview. Thanks everyone for tuning in. As always, you can find me over here at twitch.tv/Falindrith, also like at Falindrith on like basically every internet site under the sun. Okay, there's some exceptions. And then Pete is always not on the internet, so you'll just have to hope he's online and that doesn't say no again when I asked him to cast. So, thanks,
Yeah,
man.
you can always try a bat signal, but you don't know where I live, so it might not work very well.
I need a pretty powerful bat signal, though. We're not even in the same state, so. All right, that does it for us. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Awesome.